Hey, it's Lacey and welcome back to Satoshi Gaming. Today I want to discuss the weekly competition in Townstar. The weekly competition starts every Tuesday, or at least it did, at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. For many players, this is the main reason they play Townstar, to rank in the top 400 and earn gala rewards. Many players have invested thousands of dollars into NFTs to make them more competitive in the weekly, and likely depend on placement to balance out their investments and hopefully turn an eventual profit. I personally competed in the competition for a few weeks before I quickly realized just how unbalanced it was and decided to call it quits and focus on getting the daily coin instead. Let's go back in history for a minute. It has been 7 weeks since we had a weekly competition in Townstar. That's right, almost 7 weeks. The last week we played and finished a competition was the week of January 4th, 2022. And while the following week of January 11th we started a weekly competition, it was cancelled the same day due to loading issues where many players were stuck at 60% or less, or they were hitting a bad gateway. The worst part that week was that the day the competition started, those of us who weren't having issues were playing away when we were greeted with an announcement that stated, quote, "We will not be doing a full reset." Great news, so we continued to play. Then it was announced a couple hours later that the weekly would be cancelled and the server stopped shortly. The reason? According to Carrie Allen, that week's competition was shut down for, quote, growing pains. Next week rolled around on January 18th, and to many of our disappointment, the weekly was cancelled. According to Carrie Allen, quote, "We will not begin the weekly until after we have completely caught up on past rewards. It's possible it will be a longer break depending on updates and issues that are being worked on." Now at this point, they were still working on getting rewards out to players who placed for weeks as far back as November 8th, 2021. Seems like an awfully long time for players who competed and placed to be waiting on their payouts due to, quote, discrepancies. How many discrepancies can there possibly be? And why don't you put more staff into looking into this? Because honestly, not paying out your players in a timely fashion who have spent the full week playing to compete and who knows how many thousands of dollars into your NFTs, only to be greeted with delays of the size, it's a bit disappointing to say the least. January 24th rolls around. No weekly competition because, quote, "We continue to update and get past rewards sent out." And if you were waiting on a payout from any week from November 8th forward, you're still waiting, by the way. This announcement also came with the news that they were resetting the server timers to extend through the end of the month for the play to earn servers, and the last day would now be January 31st. Unfortunately, the following day on January 25th, the servers were, quote, accidentally reset, causing many of us to miss the land rush and be stuck with playing whatever we could get. Not to mention our towns were just gone when we went to log on for our daily coin. But during the accidental reset, we suddenly had a storehouse in our town when starting. So what? Did your update cause the whole debacle? Cause that was a lot of fun for me, I know. On January 31st, it was announced there would be no weekly competition again. Quote, "We are still working on getting all past rewards fixed and sent out." Good news was payouts were made for weeks ending in November 29th, December 6th, December 13th, and December 20th. Some of those players waited 2 months. February 7th. By this time, no one is holding their breath because, as many expected, the weekly was cancelled again. Quote, "No competition starting this week. It's looking like it will be a few more, at least, before we are where we'd like to be with all the updates." This announcement also said they are constantly improving all the things to make the competition server, when it returns, better capable of hosting and catching cheaters. Cheaters? What? I thought we were waiting for maintenance, and for you to catch up on long past due payouts. At least there was good news there. They expected the last of the payouts, quote, should be finalized this week. On February 14th, the weekly was cancelled again. Not surprising after the previous week's announcement. They said they were working on getting the last of the overdue rewards out and fixing many bugs and issues. But wait, what happened with the cheaters thing? No word there. So now, here we are on February 21st. This week it will have been 7 weeks since we last played a weekly competition. Do you expect we will start again tomorrow? I'm guessing no. So discounting the payments being held back as long as they have been. Personally, I feel like until they change the way the weekly is played, I have no interest in it, and I know other players feel the same way from what I've heard around the water cooler. If you haven't played the weekly before, it might sound like a great opportunity to earn. You've mastered your build over the past 7 weeks, and are ready to go in guns blazing. But it isn't just a skill game, as I think it should be. Instead, it's very rare to place in the top 400 unless you are running scripts so your game is up 24/7 and making auto sales, and also extremely difficult to compete without any NFTs, and I'm talking quality NFTs. The advantages some NFTs offer, especially in the early game, is the difference between a player having 1,000 stars and you're thinking you're doing so good because the server just went live a short bit ago, and then you see the top player is already at 250,000 stars, crushing your hopes and dreams. Yeah, it's a massive difference. So buckle up if you aren't prepared, because this competition is not just about skill. That definitely plays a role, but it's mostly about how much you've invested in NFTs and whether you're running scripts or not. My solution to this problem: don't allow NFTs in the weekly competition. Level the playing field and let us compete on pure skill, the way a competition is meant to be played. Removing NFTs from the weekly would 1. Make the competition much more interesting, and 2. Provide new players a way to start earning money to buy NFTs, which would get new players further invested in the long term, providing them a way to make daily Towncoin earnings on the play-to-earn servers. And if the goal is to get people to spend more time and money on your game, it needs to be friendly to new players, or Townstar risks becoming a game that is only for whales. I've heard many people toss around the idea that they should have 2 servers, one with no NFTs allowed and one with, to please the current player roster. Even that would be an improvement, but the way it stands, count me out of the weekly, assuming it even ever returns. What would you like to see changed about the weekly competition? Are you still waiting on a payout? Do you think it will return this week? Leave me a comment below. I do read all comments. If you'd like access to exclusive content and special perks, you can join my Patreon for as little as $1. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that bell to turn notifications on so you don't miss my latest videos. You can also find me on Twitter at SatoshiGamingTV. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.